It's time for your Low Country real estate market update. It's the Brian Beatty Real Estate Show. Brian is one of the top 1% real estate agents in Charleston. Find him online at listingsincharleston.com. That's listingsincharleston.com. Or call him at 843-345-1273. Now, broadcasting from the WTMA studios, here's your host, Brian Beatty.
Good morning, Charleston, and welcome to another edition of the Brian Beatty Real Estate Show here on the Big Talker, 1250 WTMA and WTMA.com. I'm your host, Brian Beatty, of course, and so this week we're going to talk about investing in real estate. I really want to cover flipping, buying and holding, using hard money, how to get into real estate investments if you don't have much money, how to sell to investors, how to wholesale properties, what that looks like from the seller's perspective. I want to focus on that in the first half of the show, and I'm really excited about that. It's something I have a lot of experience in, and I'm happy to tell you what I do, what I look for, and how I coach people into investing in real estate to build long-term wealth. The other half of the show is going to be talking about selling properties. Let's say you can't sell your house. For whatever reason, it's on the market. You tried selling it. It just didn't work. Should you keep it? Should you rent it out? Should you lower the price? Are there condition issues? Is it a marketing issue? Are you just not that motivated? We're going to talk about all that in the second half of this program. So thanks so much for tuning in to the Brian Beatty Real Estate Show. And I want to say a few things before we get started this morning. The first is that if you're thinking about either getting into real estate investments, or of course you want to buy or sell real estate, my real estate team has been in the top 1% of agents here in Charleston for the past decade, every year in a row. And we'd love the opportunity to earn your business. So if you'd like more information on working with my real estate team, feel free to give me a call. My number is 843-400-8009. That's my cell, 843-400-8009. Or go to my website, listingsincharleston.com. That's listingsincharleston.com. So for those of you just tuning in, this show is all about real estate. It's about housing. It's about helping you become informed about the real estate market so that you can make the right decisions, ask the right questions, and ultimately have a great transaction, have a great experience. Win the negotiations, make more money, do all of those great things that we all hope to achieve in the course of negotiating an incredibly large and expensive asset that also has a lot of emotion attached to it, which is your home, the place that you live. So I want to talk first about real estate as an investment, how to have your money make money. And so I've done, a bunch of flips on my own. I have several investment properties that I own and rent out for cash flow purposes, and I've helped probably 100 people do the same. I've represented people that have flipped numerous homes per month. I was the exclusive agent for a guy that was flipping homes that was based out of Vegas. He was doing about 300 flips a year in Vegas. So I know this process. I know it well, and it's how my family, frankly, has built their wealth in real estate. I want to say before I get too deep into this that I do have some giveaways for you guys. I have some material that I have found really helpful, that other investors have found really helpful. And so here are a few of those things. One of them is 101 steps to flipping a property, start to finish. This isn't, necessarily an all-inclusive list, but it's 101 steps from start to finish to flip a property. A really good, checklist, if you will. I have an ebook about the things that you must do and the things you should do when you're renovating a property. And then I have, to kind of tie it all together, the Ultimate Beginner's Guide to Investing in Real Estate, which covers things on multiple angles. Investing in real estate as a flip, buying and holding, residential, multifamily, using hard money, using the money of others, maybe giving your money to others to use for real estate investments. I do that as well, and I'll talk more about that. But here's why I love investing in real estate. Real estate is accessible, appreciable, rentable, improvable. It's deductible, it's depreciable, it's deferrable, it's stable, and it's livable. So anyone can buy it. It increases over time. It cash flows. You can build sweat equity in it. It has tax benefits. It's stable in that it's slow to rise and slow to fall most of the time. And it's shelter, frankly, in more ways than one. So let's talk first about the seller perspective. Because obviously, what are your options when it comes time for you to sell a house? You can hire a real estate agent. You can try and sell it for the most money possible. You can sell it yourself as a for sale by owner. You can sell it to an investor. You've got all these programs out there now that say, hey, guaranteed offer. We'll talk about that in just a minute. Maybe it just needs too much work. Let's say you inherit a property, which is where, frankly, a lot of my investment deals come from. People inherit a home. It's got too much work that needs to be done. It's been neglected for a few years. They're certainly not going to go in and spend the money that needs to be spent to fix it up to try and sell it. So they sell it, and those properties usually sell to investors. The better the deal comes from a property that's frankly in worse condition. That's really where you find the ones that you can buy for a substantial amount below what you can purchase other properties for, because you then have to put a bunch of money into it to raise it back up to the standards of that particular area. So as a seller, let's say that let's obviously push to the side the idea that you're just going to hire a real estate agent or you're going to sell your home yourself and you're going to try and sell it for top dollar. So let's talk about selling to investors. There are plenty, and I'm seeing this more and more. There are plenty of investment groups. We buy ugly houses, American Homes for Rent. You've got iBuyer programs now like Open Door and OfferPad and Knock and all these different companies that are backed by institutional investors, money from Wall Street, that are buying properties in droves. They have, hundreds of millions and billions of dollars designed to purchase real estate. Zillow's been doing this too, not certainly in Charleston, but, Atlanta as an example. You can sell your home directly to Zillow. And there's a big haircut that you take on that price. Even though Zillow's stock is down about 20 points because they posted a huge loss after this, program was launched. It's clearly not working for them, but they're trying to create this vacuum where everything is interconnected, which is what some of these iBuyer programs are doing as well. If you don't know what an iBuyer program is, it's just a collection of investors that are purchasing real estate to buy and hold and rent out, while this conglomerate of sorts creates other services like mortgage and insurance and title. That's really where they make their money, is on the ancillary services. They're only renting the properties out to get somewhere between a 5 and 6% return on their investment, which, if I'm going to buy a rental property, isn't nearly enough for me to risk that money, because it can be gone in a heartbeat in 1 month with that tenant not being there, or a major maintenance item comes due. Your profit's gone, and you're spending all your time and your energy for nothing. So we're going to talk about that as well. But so from the seller's perspective, you sell to an investor. Obviously, it's understood that that investor is going to buy it, fix it up, and sell it for profit. There has to be enough, of a return on investment for that investor in order to give you what you want, which is cash in hand to move on. And if you don't have the money to fix it up and flip it, and you don't have the experience to do that, it's highly unadvisable that you go down that route. And we're going to talk a little bit later on in the program about, if you can't sell, what are some of your options as it relates to condition? You just sell it as is? Do you stage and declutter it? Do you make repairs, or do you renovate to sell? We're going to talk about that a little later on in the program. But let's talk for a second about these guaranteed offers that we're seeing. There have been plenty. This is, an incentive that has been offered by real estate agents for quite some time. In some instances, 2 decades. And so the gist of it is, hey, we'll provide you with a guaranteed offer, or we'll give you a guaranteed cash offer. If we can't produce an offer within X amount of days, then we'll buy it, or we'll sell it for free, or kind of insert any one of those, pieces of language tied together into a sentence designed to get you to contact that real estate agent. It's really what it's all about. So what they'll do is they'll have investors that they're working with, and those investors will make offers on your property. Bottom line is, those are probably going to come in somewhere between 25 and 30% off the fair market value of your house. So after learning that, you say, well, I have no interest in doing that. That's obviously way too low. And so then they'll say, okay, well, that's fine. Why don't we just go the traditional route? Just hire me as your real estate agent, and I'll list your home for you. And maybe instead of, obviously the 25% off, which is what this investor needs, don't shoot the messenger is kind of their tap dance around the issue of, they created an incentive that got you to contact them because you want to sell your property. They give you something that they know the majority of the time you're not going to agree to. And then they just kind of back into, why don't we just work together as the standard seller and real estate agent? And if you want to sell your house, why don't we just knock the price down a few percentage points, and you'll walk away with a lot more money? And it works. And we have a similar program. I'm not going to beat around the bush here. We have a guaranteed offer program, and it's 12 to 15% off of fair market value. So if that's something you're interested in, I can get you immediate offers on your house, but it's going to be 12 to 15% off. Don't believe for a second that there's a real estate agent out there that's going to say, hey, I believe in myself and my marketing abilities so much that if I can't sell your house, I'm going to buy it and pay you top dollar for your house. That's just not happening. And any agent that actually does that will go broke and they'll be out of the business because that's just stupid. That's not good business. It would work out for you, the seller, but they'll be able to do that once, maybe twice, and then they're out. They're done. So these guaranteed offer programs, it's a bit of, smoke and mirrors. Let's just call it like it is, which is why we have a No Gimmicks Guarantee on our team. I'm telling you these things because I want you to understand how agents are finding the data to help build their businesses. We all have to be creative in terms of how we find people to help them buy, sell, or invest in real estate. And you need to determine whether these types of incentives offered by these types of real estate agents ultimately are the type of agents that you want to be working with. I'm a big fan of quality over quantity in many things in my life. And so for me, I want people to have good quality, reliable information. I want them to understand how things like this work so that they can make informed decisions. And so if you're going to sell to an investor, that investor should be very upfront with you that here's how much I'm willing to offer. Yes, I'm willing to purchase your property, but I'm selling it for profit. And here's what I need out of this deal in order for it to make sense. When I purchase properties from people, I'm transparent with my numbers. And if they can't get on board with that, then I'll go and I'll find something else. And it's not going to stop me from finding something else. The deals are out there and I'm seeing more and more of them, which is exciting. And I want to talk about that next after we take a break. But for sellers that are out there thinking of selling their house and they need to sell it rather quickly, they're in a position where, they don't really have the time to wait to hope that a buyer's going to walk through their house and buy it. Or maybe they just don't want to deal with the hassle of having the home on the market. It's really interesting how much value our society is placing on convenience these days. I mean, I get it. Go to McDonald's when you're really hungry and you've got nothing else, in the car and you're between appointments and go get a Big Mac. But don't sell your house for 25% off because it's easy. I mean, you do what you want to do, but we're talking a lot of money here for this, for not trying, for just saying, here, just whatever, here, just take it. I know that I'm taking a bath. It's fine. Not many people I know that have that mentality, but clearly they're out there because these programs are buying properties left and right. So I think that also might have something to say about the value of our industry. There are plenty of agents out there that are not offering true value. Yes, they offer a service. Yes, they give you access to certain things. Sure, they'll put your home on the MLS. Yeah, maybe they'll post it on Facebook and do an open house, but that's about it. And we're going to talk more about that a little later on in the program. And I'm going to take a break. So when we come back, stick around. We're going to continue this discussion about investing in real estate. And I'm going to get into things from the buyer perspective. How do we find these properties? What does it look like when we flip a home or buy and hold a property and use it as a rental? Do you have cash? Do you not have cash? How do you get into real estate investing if you don't have hundreds of thousands of dollars in the bank? I'm going to tell you how when we come back. All that and more as the Brian Beatty Real Estate Show continues right here on the Big Talker, 1250 WTMA and WTMA.com. And remember, if you want to reach out to me, 843-400-8009 is my phone number, 843-400-8009, or go to listingsincharleston.com. And, of course, send me a text, 843-400-8009, if you'd like a copy of one of these guides that I mentioned at the beginning of this program. 101 Steps to Flipping a Property, the must-dos and should-dos when flipping a property, and the Ultimate Beginner's Guide to Investing in Real Estate. So stick around. We'll be right back.
More stimulating talk on real estate matters with Brian Beatty next on 1250 WTMA.